In 1998, a line of budget games was launched called the Simple series. There would be a number depending on platform: Simple 1500 for the PlayStation, Simple 2000 for the PlayStation 2, and many of these games had very generic titles. The Mahjong, the Dungeon RPG, the Sound Novel, and yes, all of those are real games in the series. But I always found it strange that they never used the Pro Yakyuu. Well, not until 2003, and roughly 200 releases into the line. Well, here's the likely answer for that. Someone got to the title before them. In fact, Intech makes an entire The Pro Yakyuu series on the PC Engine, so I'll be revisiting them from time to time. This isn't even their first baseball game for the PC Engine. Intech was also responsible for the similarly creatively titled Korega Pro Yakyuu series, or This is Pro Baseball. I guess for the CD-ROM version, they decided that they didn't need to emphasize that it was Pro Baseball. I guess you could call the Pro Yakyuu a continuation of that earlier series, though the focus has changed enough that you could probably count it as a reboot. The Korega Pro Yakyuu games were management-based. You could take direct control of a player on the team, but it wasn't a baseball game in the style of Namco's Family Stadium, the template for virtually every baseball game released to this point. Well, that is what the Pro Yakyuu is. A standard baseball game just like the 100 other ones available at that time. And from experience, I am not exaggerating that number by much. The thing that the Pro Yakyuu had going for it was that it had the Japanese Baseball League license. Other baseball games at the time had to quietly smooth over what they were referencing, calling teams by just the first letter of their name, or changing one character in a player's name. The Pro Yakyuu doesn't have to dance around that. In fact, on the cover are all of the Major League managers in 1990. Why did they choose the managers instead of players? Well, they do have a strategy mode similar to the Korega Pro Yakyuu games, but in that mode you don't control any of the players. So besides having the real teams, the real players, and I guess the real managers on the cover, the Pro Yakyuu is the first Japanese baseball video game to have all of the Major League stadiums. Every park that a team plays at is represented here. You don't just get your choice between knockoff versions of the Tokyo Dome or Koshien. You can play your favorite team and give them the home field advantage. Not that anyone in the game actually gets a home field advantage. You have your choice between playing the pennant series, playing a full season, playing a season of about 1/3 the length, or just playing a single match. On the field, if you're controlling the team, then button 1 is used for pitching, batting, throwing, and button 2 is used to advance the base if you're running, or dive at the ball if you're fielding. Whether you're coaching or controlling all of the players, pressing run brings up a menu where you can adjust your strategy. If you're coaching, then you can tell the pitcher or batter what to do. Otherwise, you can send in relief pitchers, or adjust where the players are on the field. When it comes to old sports games like this, the question is, does anybody care at all? And the answer to that is a firm no. The Pro Yakyuu is pretty obscure in Japan, and the only person I found who had anything to say about it mainly complained about the quality of the voices in the intro. It seems it was a real case of recording whoever was in the office that day. Now, when I look at the Pro Yakyuu, I see a decent presentation, but nothing that really stands out among the way too many baseball games that I've played at this point. It felt to me like everything was on a very slight delay, but I'm willing to concede there that it could have been my imagination. The game just feels a little bit on the sluggish side. There was a good reason in 1990 to pick up the Pro Yakyuu over Power League or World Stadium, or the quite literally 12% of all Famicom games on store shelves at that moment. The Pro Yakyuu had the real-world teams. And even as a non-baseball fan, I can recognize that that is a huge draw for people. But in terms of how it plays, the Pro Yakyuu doesn't do anything to stand out. It's not a stinker, it's just an average sports game of the era. and I feel like a baseball game has to do better than that, even in 1990.